Mickey Meehan for UCCS Athletics. I'm joined today by our athletic director, Nathan Gibson. Now, Nate, it was a pretty good year for us, the 18-19 school year. Talk about how a lot of your teams did, just your overall thoughts on this year.
Really pleased with just a lot of the accomplishments of the year, and we had some teams really make some nice progress, and just some other exciting things come along the line, like opening up our field house and having our first indoor track meets of the year of school history. First full season in Mountain Lion Park for baseball. So there's just a lot of exciting things, and getting to see our programs just develop even a little bit more. Kind of staying on the trajectory that we are has been really exciting to see. So it was a good year athletically, academically, community service. A lot of things came together, and excited for what's beyond that as well.
So you mentioned the three kind of components of student athletes, especially in college. Let's hit on the athletics part first. As a department, we finished third in the RMAC All Sports competition. Comments on just the success of the department in general, as well as within the RMAC.
Right, so the RMAC All Sports for me is a good indicator of not just how one particular team, but how the entire department is performing. And so to be third says that we're competing at the very top of our conference. I think it's a big goal for us, though, as we look to the future to say, how do we win the RMAC All Sports? And certainly we got to compete with the best and find ways to win championships. And it's fun to see how close we are, but it's also extremely motivating to know that we're really close, being in the top three for the second year in a row, to think about how do we get even a little bit better. So, again, I think that's another good indicator of where we are and where we're going.
Looking ahead to student side of things, 30 straight semesters of that 3.0 GPA, something we pride ourselves pretty big here on at UCCS. Comments there?
I mean, just it was one of those years where we knew we had 30 semesters coming up and 15 years in a row of a 3.0 GPA or better. I don't know many athletic departments that even track that like we do, because it's so hard to accomplish. So it's part of our culture. It's part of who we are. It's probably the number one things in terms of how we measure our success is that 3.0 department GPA, because that's a great indicator for graduation and retention. So for our athletes to continue to get it done, it's awesome. And we had a 3.25 year GPA, so that's 3 years in a row now that we've done that. So just amazing. And to get to 15 years speaks to the thousands of athletes that have contributed to that. So pretty cool milestone this year for us.
Not only are they getting it done on the court, field, track, whatever, or in the classroom, they're also getting it done in the community. They're doing a lot of community service, and not just within the community directly, but also globally, as we saw women's soccer made a trip earlier this year. Comments on the community service aspect that the Mountain Lions participated in?
Yeah, I think for me it's something that we really look at in terms of how do we give back, and not just, we get a lot of people that come and watch us and care about what we're doing from an athletics perspective, but how do we give back to our community? And we've charged our athletes and our coaches with that, and so performing over 7,000 hours of community service. 90% of our athletes served in some capacity this year. I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, you don't do community service for the awards and recognition, but to be recognized for those efforts was outstanding. To be the number 4 overall athletic department in the country in terms of total community service hours performed, just awesome. And I can't say enough about our athletes. They really just kind of caught fire with wanting to give back, and seeing the fruits of community service has been awesome. And I think it's great. It's part of who we are now, and a lot of organizations rely on us. So that's just great. I'm proud of our athletes for making that a priority.
Now, you've been with the Mountain Lions for a while, but you've been in the athletic director role only for a couple of years. Now let's look ahead to next year, now that this year's over. Comments on what you're expecting or things you're looking forward to next year.
I think where we are right now is really exciting. We've got a lot of positives. We've accomplished a lot, but I think the mentality around the department is we feel like we've still just scratched the surface. We still feel like we can do more and accomplish more. I think that's really exciting, and that's a good place to be, because we're not going to be complacent. We're not going to say, we're accomplishing and doing things at a pretty high level. Everybody, I feel like, is saying, how do we take that next step? We have a lot of programs that are right there in terms of winning RMAC championships, and believe that that's what I shouldn't say believe, but expect to win next year. So I think that's exciting, but we'll never sacrifice those other components and never give up on the academic and graduation and community service aspects as well. So I think that's what's exciting, is how do we continue to perform, first and foremost on the field, on the court, on the track, and take those next steps and not be just okay with where we are, but believe that we're on a trajectory that's going to be even better than where we are now.
Well, Nate, thanks for joining us today. Sounds like we got some big things for next year. As always, fans, thanks for tuning in, and go Mountain Lions.